Welcome to Epic Tales Universe, where timeless stories ripple across the ages, where myths, legends, and history blend into one great tale. If you believe that the search for meaning is as old as humanity itself, you are in the right place. Like, share, and subscribe as we embark on one of the most enchanting and enduring stories ever told, the legend of the Fountain of Youth. They said there was a spring where age itself dissolved, where wrinkles faded, where strength returned, where death was pushed away. They called it the Fountain of Youth, a water more precious than gold, a promise more alluring than any crown. But was it real, or was it the oldest dream of all, wrapped in stories that traveled across continents and centuries? The earliest whispers of such a fountain can be found in the world's oldest chronicles. Ancient peoples spoke of waters with the power to heal and restore. Among the Greek historians, Herodotus told of a spring in distant Africa, where those who drank of it lived long lives, their bodies renewed. He described a land where the people were tall and strong, living centuries, their vitality attributed to the quality of their waters. In another telling, in the legends surrounding Alexander the Great Conqueror is said to have searched for waters of immortality in the east. One tale tells of his servant accidentally discovering the spring while washing a dried fish, which leapt back to life in the miraculous waters. Though Alexander never found the fountain himself, the story became woven into the lore of eternal youth. From east to west, the dream echoed. In the Middle East, tales spoke of a hidden spring guarded by mystical forces. In Asia, rivers were said to flow from lands of immortals, whose waters nourished those who would never die. The idea of a life-giving fountain was not bound to one culture. It lived in the heart of many. But the Fountain of Youth became most famous in the Age of Exploration. When European sailors crossed oceans, searching for new worlds and treasures, they also carried with them old legends. Among them was the story of waters in the New World that could restore youth and strength. This tale became bound to the name of Juan Ponce de León, the Spanish explorer and conquistador. A companion of Columbus, later governor of Puerto Rico, Ponce de León sailed in the early 1500s with tales ringing in his ears of an island or land where a miraculous spring flowed. Some say he sought it in the lands we now call Florida. Though history paints him as searching for territory, trade, and glory, the legend soon transformed him into a seeker of eternal youth. Chroniclers wrote that he wandered through Florida's forests and rivers, guided by native tales of healing waters. But whether the natives spoke of such a fountain or whether Europeans imposed the story upon them is uncertain. Still, the legend grew. Florida became linked forever with the Fountain of Youth. Even today, in St. Augustine, there stands a park where tourists drink from a spring, believing, even playfully, that its waters carry the myth forward. But what of the indigenous stories themselves? In the Caribbean, tales existed long before Europeans arrived, of islands where life was long, where waters healed. To the Taino people, the word Bimini spoke of a place of abundance and renewal. It is likely that Spanish ears heard such tales and wove them into the myth they already carried. What began as one culture's story of sacred waters became another culture's legend of eternal youth. Over the centuries, countless seekers dreamed of this fountain. Explorers, alchemists, and poets all spoke of water that could reverse time's arrow. Some claimed it was hidden in the jungles, others that it was guarded by spirits, others still that it was not a place at all, but a secret of transformation hidden within the human soul. Science, of course, offered no proof. No spring has ever been found that can halt aging. Yet even as reason spread, the legend did not fade. It simply changed its form. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the Fountain of Youth was linked to spas, mineral waters, and hot springs. People traveled to places like Baden-Baden in Germany, Bath in England, or Saratoga in America, hoping the waters there might restore vigor and prolong life. And beyond water, the quest continued. Alchemists spoke of the elixir of life, a liquid that could be distilled through mastery of transformation, granting immortality. Modern science, too, chases echoes of the same dream, researching genetics, medicine, and technology that might slow or reverse aging. The Fountain of Youth remains, though now it flows through laboratories instead of jungles. Yet the story holds more than fantasy. It reveals something eternal about us. The Fountain of Youth is not only about water. It is about the fear of time. It is about the longing to hold on to what slips away, our strength, our beauty, our days. It is about the refusal to accept that we are finite. And yet, within the myth, there is wisdom. For many traditions, the waters of life were not just meant to erase wrinkles but to renew the soul. To drink of the fountain was not only to live longer but to live wiser. Some said the fountain could not be found by the greedy or the cruel, only by those pure of heart. In this, the legend becomes less about escaping death and more about finding life. A life of meaning, joy, and connection. So was the fountain of youth ever real? In a sense, yes. It is real wherever people hope, wherever people dream of renewal. It is real in the springs that heal wounds, in the rivers that nourish the earth, in the laughter that makes us feel young again. It is real in every act of kindness that restores a heart, in every discovery that gives new life to humanity. The explorers who died in jungles and rivers chasing gold and eternal life may never have found their fountain. But their quest reminds us of a truth, that the desire to live, to renew, to hope, is unquenchable. And perhaps that is the true fountain, hope itself, flowing endlessly, giving strength to face each day. Thank you for joining us today in Epic Tales Universe. If this story of the Fountain of Youth touched you, if it reminded you of the eternal spring that flows within the human heart, please like this video, share it with friends who love ancient mysteries, and subscribe for more journeys into the timeless stories of our world. Because while we may not escape time, we can always find renewal in story, in wonder, and in hope.